So the object of this project is Gridworld, and that would be to generate the graphics for Gridworld and animate it and do the appropriate calculations for the reinforcement learning feedback loops that go into it. I wanted to work on a smaller version to make life easy for me, because it's a difficult thing to kind of develop from the perspective of how much I know about it. So we'll start. I'm going to transfer the data from one file to the next, so I don't have to type it out, and I wouldn't know what it was anyway. So we'll start off. Our imports will be tkinter, which is the graphics package on Python. It's tk. We don't need NumPy, but that's just there because sometimes I'm using it and it just gets put in there as a matter of fact. We're going to use random and we're going to use time, so we need to import those. So the code will be object-oriented programming, and the code is going to be the class is going to be designated as ShortWalk. So we'll start with our first definition, which will be Gridworld, which will be grid, not Gridworld. It's traditional to assign a name to the tk function. Don't know why. You could just put tk in there as well, but I'm just following convention. So we're just using the word root, which that seems to be common. I'm just copying what other people do for the most part. So self root equals tk gives us the variable for tk. Putting in the window, it's a canvas. We're going to call that canvas, and in order to put the window in, we need to put in self root canvas, and then the coloring is for background, and we need to put the specifications for height and width in. This line of the code is to activate the graphics. We need to have a canvas.pack in, and we need to have a run routine in, run main loop. Now running the code, of course, we'll have to run it off the class. So once again, traditionally it's kind of give that a name. So walk will equal class ShortWalk, and then in order to get the code to work, we need to print out walk and call the function grid. So if we do that, then we'll get our initial grid world up. So this is the little window that we're going to have these few steps of grid world in, and then we can start on filling in the canvas with the grid world in. This is just the background. So in the next line of the code, we're going to put in the grid itself, on which we're going the framework on which we're going to build the grid. And I just want to show you what happens when we go through the coding here. So we have to call the function here, which has got our grid world block in. So we call canvas, and then we call the variable, and there's the variety of them. So here are the variables. There's various information, and we'll be using we could use chords. We'll be using chords, rectangle, move, oval, line. We'll be using all of these functions which come within the package. So I just wanted to show you those so you could see where this lot's coming from. So now when we run the first line of the code, up will come our grid world, and whoa, that's thick, isn't it? So this is going to be our grid world. This is the framework in which the grid world is being built. And now we're going to put a perimeter around here. We're going to put some lines to separate them, so that these will be the steps, the states, or the walks in the grid world. We'll have a start state here, where we're going to put our agent, which is going to be an oval, and an end state here, which is going to be red. So I'm just going to transfer those now, and we can see how that goes. So we're going to put a perimeter around our green grid, and we can run that. And we can see the white line going around here. And these represent the X and Y directions which enable you to draw the line. So like in the first line here, which is the top line, we start off with 10x, that's in this direction, and 10y, so that's that point here. Then the next point will be the point down here, which is 194 on the x-axis and 10 on the y-axis, which puts that point in there. And then we're going to go left, so we're going to go, this is the left line, so we're 10x and 10y starting here. And down here we're still 10x and 56y, and so on for these for drawing this round here. So we've now put a nice little perimeter around that, and we can now start putting in the various other lines. So next we're going to divide the grid up and put some white lines in to identify the various spaces that we have in the grid walk. So this is basically our grid walk. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 states. This will be our start state, and this will be our end state. We'll be putting our agent in there, and our final state will be blocked out in red. So I'm just going to put those in now. So here we've put in a red block at the end of the grid, and it overwrites the line that we drew in there previously. If I can stop stuttering, previously, so we have to put that line back in, and we'll do that now. So now we're going to, let's get the grid up first. So we've got our white line there, and the convention for drawing a box like this is quite different from just building individual lines. We're actually going to be drawing a line around here one step at a time, and the convention is that you'll draw this line with the coordinates for that line, and then you will put the corresponding coordinates at the end of the next line. So go to here, and go back to here. So I'll put this under here so we can kind of understand this. It's a little bit more confusing than the other ones. So we start off here with 148 in the x direction, 10 in the y. That sets that point. We go to 194 in the x direction and 10 in the y. That sets that point. Now from here on, we just designate the point further down around the rectangle. This is a polygon. It enables you to draw lines in various different directions all over the place. You just attach to the next point you want to go. So from here, the next point down will start as 148. So where I'm confused, where am I? I'm there. We're at 194 and we're going down to 196. Then we're going along back to 148 and 56, and then we're going back up to 148 and 10. So it takes a little getting used to, but with a bit of practice, you kind of get used to and work it out. So finally we're going to enter the agent, which is going to be an oval, and we can see how that looks. So the convention for putting in the dimensions for this are somewhat different. You'd think it would be x in here and y down there to this point, but it actually is, it's this dimension for x and that dimension for y. So let's change it, and you can actually see what happens. We can change this to a 2 and run that, and we can see how that's affected it. So our x0, if you will, is here, and our y0 is here, and our x1 is out here, and our y1 is out here as well. It's out here as well. It's in a different direction. That's all. So let me put that back. Get this down here, and we'll repeat that. So the coordinates you're putting in are x here, y there, then x here and y there. and their displays the same. So that's got our agent in, and we can now move on to the next section.